Hey, everybody, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We're your hosts. I'm going to see if I get this right. Kicker, the chief of Serial and FLG Insider, Shelby, the hobby guru and most delightful player in 40K, and I'm Seth, the Mad Dog, your competitive correspondent. Hey, everyone, how you been doing?
Hey, Seth. Hey, Shelby. How you guys doing?
Good.
I mean, a lot happened on, right, guys? Like a lot of exciting stuff is going down. I'm loading up the van to go to Lone Star Open in like 3 days. So I'm like packing up, getting my minis because I want to try and get a game in. Even though I'm working, I'm going to still try and play. But and packing all the cereal.
Overpowered minis.
I mean, personally, I can't think of anything really cool that's happened at all.
Oh, nothing.
I can't think of any releases, tournaments. It's a really boring week.
What has everyone been up to outside of 40K? How's life been, Shelby?
Oh, yeah. So I have been working on my now extremely purple Lord of Change.
Lord of Purple?
Lord of Purple. He is super Lord of Purple. I struggled to figure out what color scheme to go with, and that's where we landed. So slowly but surely work through that. Trying to keep up with our little local escalation league. Turns out running like any semblance of any sort of organized play is very difficult, but also super fun and rewarding. And there's a Magic the Gathering card set coming out this weekend that's D&D themed. And so I'm super stoked about that.
Are they doing a 40K one down the line?
Yes,
they're doing like some themed cards. Okay. So previously they've done like a Godzilla themed one where they released like 13 or 14 special art cards. And I think that's kind of what they're doing for 40K.
Nice. Hey, Seth, what's happening with you? I'm sure you're slightly excited.
Oh my God, so many new work rules. Every day is a new set of work rules and models, and I'm so excited. I'm going to be so poor. I've literally been like, hey, honey, this is my birthday. Just don't worry about any of that stuff. And by
Christmas.
The way, yeah, I'm just going to buy all this. But I did actually go to an RTT, and I took the Stompa out, and the Stompa did good. It won the RTT.
Dude, nice. You won.
Yeah, little Stompa nice. That could.
Nice,
so,
man.
Speaking of Kicker, why don't you take us into some of the industry news?
All right, guys. Well, as we all know, and I'm sure every podcast is talking about, orcs, and more orcs. Yes, that's exciting. The Beast Snagga box is up for pre-order this Saturday, but sadly, most stores are only going to get 4 boxes per store. That's unfortunately very low allocations. The standalone kits, though, should be coming out shortly after the release, but no date has been confirmed yet. But they promise they will come soon, which is kind of like rough, right? Because the only way you can get the codex right now is in this Beast Snagga box, and if you don't get it then you're gonna have to wait at least a few weeks, so that's kind of rough. I personally have been scouring the world, asking my friends and friends of friends and friends and friends of friends and cousins and relatives to try and see if they can find me a box as soon as it gets released, because I am desperate for one.
Your cousins are like, what are you talking about, buddy?
I don't even play that game. Will you still play that?
My grandmother's like, what is that? What is a Beast Snagga? But also not orc related, but Grey Knight Castellan Crow. Am I saying that right? I don't play Grey Knight.
Castellan Crow, yeah.
Castellan Crow. Well, he's finally coming out with an updated mini, it's about time. He's been a beloved character, although I don't know how to pronounce his name. I didn't know it was Crow. I thought it was like a little bit more, fancier of a a name than Crow. Are you sure that's the name?
Pretty sure it's Crow.
Pretty certain
it's like a title. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Look, what do you want? It's the 41st millennium. Eventually, they're going to get lame names.
I will say, like, they posted a picture of his old model versus this new model, and it is like night and day difference. Super cool,
dude. And GW also just tried to really level up and actually incorporate some pretty cool effects into his sword. So it's not just a sword; it's got some like magical stuff coming off the side of it,
like burning hellfire.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome.
Well, purify the traitors.
But there are some new rules that have been released, just previews, of course. We can't possibly go over each and every single one of them, but we're going to talk about one. Seth, I'm going to choose the Daca rule. I'm very interested in this. What do you think, Seth? Why don't you give us the Daca rule in like one sentence?
Essentially, it's the. Before it used to be if you rolled a 6 to hit, you get to roll another die for another attack. Now it seems to be an entire new weapon type, similar to like rapid fire or assault. So it has two shots. So for instance, a shoot is Daca 3-2. So when you're within half range, it's the 3 shots. When you're over half range, it's the 2 shots. The one thing they haven't answered, and that's the one thing that's going to be really important, is how does this profile function in terms of advancing and shooting?
Yeah,
so
because it's not listed as an assault weapon anymore, right? It's listed as a Daca weapon.
And so the core rule book says you can only fire assault weapons when you advance. So as it stands right now, you would not be able to advance and shoot that, but they might it's very easy for them to stick a line in the York Codex that says treat Daca weapons as if assault for the purposes of being able to shoot after making an advanced move. So
they have to.
They might also do something like you have to, I don't know, pay a CP for strat or something that makes
yeah,
your
there
Daca
could
weapons an
totally,
assault weapon or
be
something.
a strat that says
Yeah.
turn your Daca weapon into an assault weapon with the top number of shots. That's totally possible. So
orcs, of course, are going to be advancing and charging. Like that's just part of their rules, and so they have to be able to have assault weapons, right? Like that's required.
For sure.
Well, on top of that, Shelby, have you seen the new Krieg kill team yet? Come on, right? You've seen those.
I mean,
you know this is coming.
They're just like people, right? They're just like humans.
No, there's so much more than that.
Sorry, I have to bring some super not excitement to the podcast. Just kidding. They look really cool, and like I am super excited for the kill team box. You got new commandos, new Krieg guys. It's super cool. I do think it's interesting that we've got some previously Forge World models coming out into a kill team box. That's neat, and I don't know what that means.
so I have zero knowledge on this, but I'm putting money on it that they're going to probably turn a lot of the Forge World stuff into plastic, and maybe we'll have Deathcore Krieg plastic tanks, and of course the Death Riders, right? Like you have to have Deathcore Riders, like that's so important. Did you guys catch the little Warhammer community article that had a Deathcore Krieg sniper variant? So they showed one of the alternate weapons that you can give this new kit, and it was a sniper rifle, and I was so pumped because initially they didn't show a single model with a sniper rifle, but the trailer had a sniper, and I'm like, what? How can you have the kit but not have a sniper rifle? Well, it looks like there is going to be a sniper rifle in the kit. I don't know. I'm excited about that.
I'm excited on your behalf. That's
okay,
what
thank you.
And potential horses in the future.
Whatever army has horses, Kicker is in.
Yeah, I'm all about the cavalry. All about the cavalry.
He wants some of them Squig Hog Riders.
Dude, that's all I want is just the Squig Hog Riders, and that new HQ choice, the one on the white Squig. I mean, geez.
A great white Squig.
Great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to share this joke, and it might be a little off color,
right,
but
oh god.
The great white Squig, I feel like, is just a description for overweight, poorly tanned gamers. So, anytime someone says great white Squig,
you're looking a little green right now, buddy. Are you?
I am. It's the orc energy. It is just infused into me.
If you are if you're driving to work, we do a live stream every Wednesday, and you can partake and watch our wonderful host Seth become a green orc,
and our wonderful producer make these weird things happen.
Kicker, why don't you take us into the FLG Company news?
All right, guys. So nothing too exciting, except we do have a brand new mat. Yay, new mat! This is a summit, so it's we have desert, we have beaches, we have plains and dry scrublands and Mars, and now we finally have a mountain summit. So that's an exciting new mat that usually is going that's on sale for 20% off, and that sale usually lasts 2 weeks. Check it out on the website. But moving right along, I'm sure you guys have seen on our community page the new FLG ITC terrain guidelines. These are going to be in use at the Lone Star Open. Prior to each game, players will use a total of 10 minutes of the time off the clock to settle pre-game actions and adjust the terrain as needed. Terrain will use keywords, and we are providing these keywords that are shown on the images on the packet. And if you look above me, you can see some of the photos right there of the layouts. We'll have 3 layouts.
Let me hop in. One thing I know that people have been missing is pay attention to the terrain that has asterisks, because as Kicker goes through, that will become important. So remember, asterisks is important as well as numbers. Numbers are your keywords. Yeah. So if you're looking at the photos on the packet, you'll see a map, and you'll see a bunch of different pieces of terrain, and they have numbers by them, and some of them have asterisks. The numbers basically are referencing the keywords that we're recommending those pieces of terrain be used. So for Lone Star Open, we have 3 layouts. Of course, different events will have 3 other layouts. We might have more. We might have 5 or 6 at LVO. The terrain is divided as along the center line of the deployment map. So just look at the photos, you'll see it. It's pretty clear. There's a line that goes right down the side, down in the center. The defender chooses their table side, and then players separate the terrain as shown in the images above. Starting with the defender, players alternate placing one piece of terrain from their half of the terrain in their table half at a time until all terrain has been placed. All the terrain pieces must be placed. You can't try and hide one under the table. You got to use all the terrain we're giving you. Terrain must be at least 4 inches from a table edge or another piece of terrain. But pieces of terrain that have the asterisk, so some of these are bigger pieces of terrain, they have to be placed at least 6 inches from a table edge or another piece of terrain. If you check out the packet, you'll see all this information in there. You'll see all the keywords as defined. It's pretty clear. Of course, you can always ask us or the TO or hit us up on the community page for some more, I guess, elaborate question. If you have an elaborate question that needs to be answered. But anyway, check out the packet. It's all there. Anyway, guys, I really want you guys to understand that it's important that
FLG is listening to the feedback, and we're trying our best to utilize the massive terrain collection that we have made over, like, I think it's 10 years that we've been making this stuff. And we want to make this terrain that we have fit in the unique situation that 9th edition has presented us with. The rules kind of change from edition to edition, and so 9th edition, we've got a new set of rules, and we're trying to make our terrain fit within those. After the Lone Star Open, we can pivot and adjust the guidelines if necessary. We want everyone to have a good time and have the most balanced terrain as possible, but also make it fun and easy to use. So, guys, what do you think? Seth, I mean, do you think this is going to impact your list building, or have you really considered a terrain?
I've and Shelby, I don't know how much you've played in the new Warzone stuff, but player place terrain has been really common here in the Southeast with the Warzone format. So I think I know a lot of folks are real negative on player place terrain, but I think it's a skill like anything else in competitive play, and you just need to take a little time to get used to it. And it can be fine. I personally like the gap between the terrain being 4 to 6 inches, because that I've played in some versions where the gap is 3 inches, and that can really bottleneck vehicle armies, which is typically what I like to run. So I'm very intrigued, and I want to get the terrain on the table and play with it. I think I have like half of an orc set. I probably should just eventually bite the bullet and buy more FLG terrain.
The spacing thing was a thing we really discussed. We were like, do we put that into effect? And we had to, because there's going to be too many guys that are going to weaponize the terrain to create total roadblocks for knights.
Or make just giant walls of obscuring line of sight with little gaps in between them. So I really do like that there is some thought taken to what large pieces should be 6 inches away and what small pieces can be 4 inches away.
I do have a quick question, because I haven't read the packet. Can you put them on objectives? I'm assuming no.
No.
Yeah.
Same kind of concept. Sure. No objectives cannot be placed on the terrain. But with that said,
you'll know what mission you're playing, so you'll know where the objectives are.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And everyone's using those objective markers that are like 4 inches big. They're 40 millimeter.
The neoprene ones,
the neoprene ones. So obviously, the neoprene can be in the objective in the terrain, but obviously not the center.
The 40 mil center.
Shelby, have you ever done player place terrain? Do you like it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so the Warzone, a couple of the Warzone stuff tournaments that we went to in the past, 6 or 7 months or so, some of the smaller ones, we've tried it, and I find that it's an added layer of strategy that I just am not good at. So like, if it's possible that, you'll just wind up creating a symmetrical table with your opponent and being like, this looks fine, right? Yeah, it's cool. But I just am generally like, I know that if you're good at it, you're supposed to take into account like where to place the terrain and do it carefully, but most of the time I don't. So I personally not a huge fan, just because I don't think very hard about this.
And I think the difference,
but I understand for sure why you would use it.
Yeah.
Shelby, I think the difference specifically between the system FLG's outlined here and what Warzone does is you're restricted to placing the terrain in your half of the table when you know what your deployment zone is. So, whereas Warzone, you could put the terrain anywhere on the table before you knew what deployment zones were. So it's a lot harder to screw yourself, if that makes sense.
You're absolutely right.
It's very obviously it's impossible to affect the other half of the table, but it's very hard to screw yourself. If you need obscuring to hide something, you can. I'm putting it down. I know how I want to deploy in this deployment zone. I've got this piece. So I think it at least helps you in that aspect.
KR Quinn makes a good point, and that is that this actually allows you to use a fortification, whereas previously other versions of player place terrain, it essentially becomes impossible in some cases.
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. I like that we're adding that, or you're adding that.
KR Quinn is 100% correct. I mean, that. So there's a lot of strategy involved. But we're going to test it out, see what people think. I personally am a lazy sack of shit. I don't want to place terrain. I want to show up to a table and just sit my ass down and start rolling dice. So I was not very excited about this.
Admech.
Right.
I think folks give it a try, and don't jump to conclusions. Give it a try. Give it a few reps. Get used to it, and then. Kicker, is there a place they can leave feedback?
Yeah, obviously the community page. You can email me. You can email anyone at Frontline Gaming, and they'll just forward it to me or Reese or Frankie, depending on the topic. But yeah, we really do want feedback. Come up to us at the registration booth. We'll be there all weekend long, and tell us what you think after your first few rounds. Like, hey, I like it, I love it, or I hate it. This is Frontline Gaming. We're all just a bunch of giant 40K geeks, and we want to make the best possible tournament, that we can. So after Lone Star Open, we have SoCal, and we can totally adjust as needed. We actually have LV teams, but we can adjust as needed for those. Guys, speaking of events, yes, SoCal Express pass tickets holders have all been emailed. So check your email box. If you want to go to SoCal and use your Express Pass, please reply by Friday because tickets will be going on sale to the public very, very soon. Moving on to Lone Star Open, guys, we are very excited to announce that Frontline Gaming will be having our Bloody Corn happy hour for you to kick off your tournament in the best possible way. Basically on Friday and Saturday between 8 and 10 a.m. in the hall right there. There's going to be really nice discounted Bloody Mary drinks, nice, fancy, professionally made, and it's what better way can you imagine to start your 40K tournament with a Bloody Mary in your hand, right?
I need you to know really quickly that I've never regretted so much not choosing to go to a tournament because Bloody Mary is probably my favorite beverage, right behind or in front of a Moscow Mule, depending on the day. So I am so glad for you and everybody else.
So the next time you need to convince her, just tell her how good the Bloody Marys are.
The Bloody Marys are great.
Yeah,
I mean, this hotel, I've been working with the chef there, and I'm really excited. They're gonna hopefully pour pretty heavy with the rum. Like, long story short, Bloody Marys are gonna be great. We're also going to have, let me just double check the price real fast. Yes, we are going to have our bucket of beers there. This is another Frontline Gaming specialty. 6 beers for $25. They come in a nice little cooler thing to keep it nice and cold so that you and your opponent can enjoy your round thoroughly.
Oh my God, everybody's going to be so toasted.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. So,
yes.
Okay, like a beer an hour isn't horrible, but like... I know a lot of guys that are going to get more than one bucket around.
Well, I mean, we might have to limit people to one bucket per round or something because it's a pretty good deal. I'm not sure what
bucket for you, one bucket for your opponent. Go.
So there'll be Bloody Marys in the morning. Start your game off strong, and then buckets of beer throughout the rest of the day until they sell out. And then of course there'll be an open bar for other drinks as well, and then a full concession stand with your stereotypical hamburgers, hot dogs, nachos. And I've arranged them to have a nice, like a box lunch kind of offering for a very affordable price that you can also grab and go. Nice. So yeah, it'll be a nice event. You'll have all the food and drink options you could want. So Seth, Shelby, I'm sorry you guys won't be there, but I know our producer will be there. So yay, Richard, I'll see you there. And of course, Val.
I'll be there digitally. I think I'm table bossing that weekend.
Oh, you are? Are you going to really table boss?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. That's
sweet.
exciting.
Build new orc models, hopefully have my new orc models to build and then table boss.
Nice.
They're there.
Well, Shelby, what's happening in the FLGN news?
Absolutely nothing. Moving on.
Nothing.
I'm just kidding, obviously. Okay, so Grim After Dark last night? They actually did an interview with John Lennon himself. I actually have not listened to it to figure out what they're talking about. I'm assuming they're talking about the fact that John never loses and is playing Ultramarines.
Yeah, they're learning the power of the Boy King.
Right.
The Boy King Wonder.
Is that what they're calling him?
Yeah, he's like 24.
I mean, I can change his name in registration. I'm going to do that. I'm going to change his name officially in our
to
software.
The Boy King.
Yeah,
don't do that to him. Don't do that to the poor lad. Check that out. I don't know if they like pick his brain for some insider tips and tricks or what, but either way, you can go watch John Lennon be interviewed by Danny and John Quinnell, which I'm sure is a very great experience for him and not bad at all. Probably hilarious as well.
Poor guy. Jeez.
It's fine. I love you guys. Also, last week's Thursday show, if you guys missed any of the news about the Mall in the Mall or the Show Me Showdown. Yeah. Right, Show Me Showdown. They kind of give you some insight into the lists that were taken, right? Not the results because it hadn't happened yet, but if you guys want to check it out just to see what sort of the meta was going into the tournaments this weekend, that would be a good place to listen in. Upcoming, maybe, fingers crossed, a return to perhaps a crappy version or a great version of 40K Stat Center. Who knows? Last week we interviewed Val, and he was remarkably surprised at the concept that he could just, make a shittier version of the show and let it happen. And so I don't know if that's what he's going for or what. This upcoming Thursday, i.e. Tomorrow, you can probably tune into the Thursday show. I imagine they'll be covering the Gibraltar Major.
Where is that? Is that a city?
It is in Gibraltar.
Okay.
Which is a British
thing.
It's one of them. It's one of them places.
It's in the south of Spain, but it's a British territory. It's weird. It's a place.
I don't believe it.
But either way, it looks really cool. It looks like a super fun time. So tune in. learn some more about Gibraltar and some of the lists that people are going to take there. Next Tuesday, you guys can tune in on the 27th for Grim After Dark to be interviewing Colin Sherman, who is going to be plugging and talking to you guys about Charity Hammer, which is pretty fantastic. Charity Hammer is an upcoming event, which is the weekend of what, Seth?
August 5th through 8th. You can find all the information at charityhammer.com.
Sick, yes. And you'll find all the info you want there. It's a great cause. It's super cool. People play 40K for 72 hours straight.
Yeah, right now I think there was a scheduling, we'll call it snafu, and right now I'm scheduled to play at I'm playing like in the afternoon on Thursday, and then I'm playing like midnight Friday to 3 a.m. Friday against Danny in our grudge match, which is also the first round of our GT match against each other. And then I'm scheduled to play 6 a.m. in the Orc tournament. So I have a 3-hour gap between games.
Dude, like, how do you pull these? This is like the shittiest shit.
I have specifically requested a 6-hour gap. I have been promised by Colin that will be fixed, but it has not been fixed yet.
They're like, we'll just give the Southerner the really crappy time slots.
I mean, Danny and I do have a theory that playing at night will be better because it'll be cooler.
Okay.
And we're worried about being hot.
Yeah.
Too hot for the stream, and you don't want us taking our clothes off because we'll do it.
Sorry. Quick correction, real quick. John corrected me in the chat. I'm assuming he means Tuesday the 20th and not Thursday the 20th. Silly John. They're actually going to be interviewing Peter the Falcon.
Yes, and
so that should be fun.
27th is Colin.
Excellent.
I do want to defend El Jefe, our great and fearless leader. There was a lot of work.
That. You know that, right?
And that's why I'm doing it. Okay. There's a lot of people that put a lot of work into collecting materials for Stat Center this week. It just didn't end up happening because the Falcon himself fell ill. So. And that's it, but it's they're working. I promise you, they're trying. El Jefe is cracking the whip at all of us.
Oh dear.
I was collecting interviews this weekend. It's everyone's doing their part, collecting materials for him. So,
but Seth, you bring up a really good point, though. There's a whole like family now of people helping Val.
Like 35 or 40 people.
Yeah,
working together.
Just with Stat Center. It's a 40-person job for Stat Center. Definitely nothing else. They are just here for the one show.
I mean, they love Val. It is and Peter, and it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. Peter. It's a huge group of guys that are all across the world just trying to collect data. So this podcast is happening. I promise it's going to happen soon, and it's going to blow your socks off. I don't think they're going to do just a shittier version of Stat Center, but they could, and it'll still be amazing. So that's all right.
Yeah. Shelby, you want to bring us into the table talk?
Yeah, I guess so. So really, David asks if we see the chat over at YouTube. I do,
but I don't think it's getting I don't think his comments getting sent to the YouTube chat. So
if you're saying something in YouTube, David, yeah. I mean, I'm seeing some YouTube comments, so I see everything.
We see everything, but I don't think Facebook talks to YouTube and YouTube talks to Facebook.
But yeah, I just want to reiterate, thank you to everybody, guys, gals, whatever everybody who is contributing to the amazingness that is currently FLG in. Like seriously, all y'all came out of the woodwork. I look forward to meeting some of you, if not all of you. Anyways, so I know that Kicker, alluded to some orcs stuff that's happening. I guess I don't know. It's apparently a thing. Like a box is coming out, and there's some cool stuff. Okay. Anyways, we know that you've seen it. We know that you've heard about it. We know that you're looking forward to it. We also know that it's probably going to be on like every single podcast for like the next week and a half or so. So bear with us here. I'm not going to go into rule speculation. Really, neither of us is going to. I look like a CRTV.
You've gone ghosty.
I don't know what's wrong with me right now. Don't mind me, guys.
Great White Squig is eating your bandwidth.
It seriously has. Darn you, the Great White Squig. So anyways, we're not really going to do a rules discussion so much as we're just really curious about the format of the release of these guys, because I find it not necessarily bad, but definitely different and kind of strange. We've been looking forward to this, even me, because I love seeing the new sculpts that come out. Like some of these, I like to buy models just because I think they look cool and paint them up poorly. That's what I do. And even some of these models, I am super, super excited just to see them released. So I was looking forward to it myself, and obviously people like Seth who have been really, really excited about kind of a rework, redux of some beautiful orcs. I how do I put this? The
Be
ones
honest.
like no, it's just weird, right? The way they're doing this and kind of inconvenient. And when I mean kind of, I mean it's quite inconvenient. And I love the models in it. I think it's probably a very great value box, right? Like, so we have Kill Team coming out that has commandos and some Krieg folks. With this box that's coming out, the Beast Snagga box has the full codex, data cards. I think like 10,
20.
26 miniatures.
20 of the little
Beast
like.
Snaggas.
Yeah, is that what
20,
the name
20
of the
the infantry.
Yeah.
You've got 3 of the riders. You've got
The
2
knob.
characters, and you've got a bomb squig.
Not
so you
this
got
guy.
26
This guy isn't in there.
Yeah, that's the kill rig.
So yeah, these sculpts are freaking absolutely gorgeous. That being said, really quickly, I would just like to bring your attention to something that has been near and dear to my heart for the last like hour or so. And that is, look at these poor squigs. Look at them. Do you not see the metal that has been screwed into their bodies, the bombs attached to their faces? What sort of treatment in life do these squigs live? These poor guys. I would like to call right now for some sort of 40K version of PETA, and we need to fight for squig rights, guys. We need to stand up and speak out for these poor abused squigs, because squigs are people too.
Are
Okay?
they?
No, they're not. They're food, Shelby. They're food.
They're actually squigs. Like,
Are they
They're
fungus?
actual food for the orcs, is what they are.
Okay, that doesn't make it any better. All right, I'm sure they have feelings
Look at-
and
that-
pain
look at-
receptors.
That squig that is pulling that kill rig, he's having fun. There are squigs that are food. There are squigs that are ammo. That one at least has, some activity in his life besides getting shoved into a gun or shoved into an orc's mouth.
Okay, well, I guess Seth, you've convinced me. This is fine. Treat the squigs however they want. My hour of being upset about the treatment of squigs in the 40K universe in a completely fictional land is now over and complete. Moving on to the actual discussion of this stuff. So this box, I'm super excited about it. Has the codex in it, has the data cards in it, but like Ticker mentioned earlier, there's only roughly like I think four copies.
4 per store.
Getting allocated to each store. And that's, I mean, I don't know much about your community of 40K players, but I know there are a lot of people who are excited about orcs and looking to get into it, and a lot of orcs players who are looking to grab this box, if not multiple boxes.
It's also just a great value too, right? Think about it. The codex, all the models for $200. Like,
but that raises a good point, because we don't know what the value is going to be, right? Like, I know that there is literal value in it, but we don't know how much a box of 10 Beast Snaggas is going to be, or these HQs or anything, because we don't know when they're going to get released separately. And that's kind of the discussion I wanted to have with you guys, because this is exactly how the Sisters of Battle were kind of released into the world. And while I'm really excited to have these models and this codex, I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just curious, right? Like this is pure speculation on my part. And maybe next week GW is like, okay, here's the boxes of Beast Snaggas, here's the new HQs and the super awesome stuff that we just announced, and you're good to go, right? Like maybe that's the case, but that's not how it went with Sisters, right? Like it was a while before the codex came out separately. What do you guys?
A recent case study, right? A recent example was the Farah Nexus. What is it? The Pariah Nexus box. That was a kill team box. Pariah Nexus that came out. It was the only way you can get heavy intercessors, right? And you had to wait. I think was it 4 or 5 months before you could get the standalone kit.
Time.
And first of all, that box sold out, and everyone wanted those damn heavy intercessors. That left a lot of feel badsies, right? Like, you want these models, but you can only get these models if you have to buy a whole kill team box, and you might not even play kill team, but you want those models. That's a little rough. And I'm worried that you're going to get some backlash with the same Beast Snagga box. People might just want the codex. They might already have a fully functional orc army, and they just want the codex, and they're going to have to get the whole box to get the codex.
Wit 23 just points out there's like an Obliterator's plastic kit that still hasn't come out that was in a combo box.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what box that is, Wit, but good call on that.
Like finding Obliterators right now.
I mean, I feel like this box set is, in a dream world, was supposed to be released alongside the rest of the release.
Yeah.
Because that just makes sense. It's like, okay, we're dropping the book and all the stuff, but if you just want to get the limited edition and you want to, dive on this box, do it. So it does feel odd that it's coming out on its own. I have had an unreasonable amount of hobby stress trying to make sure I can get myself one of these boxes, because obviously, like, I play orcs. I would like them. I run an orc YouTube channel, so I would like to be able to cover the content. And I'm going to Charity Hammer, where I'm supposed to play orcs competitively, and I have 3 days from when this box releases to submit my list. So I'm really, I'm scrambling too, trying to find these boxes, folks.
GW is directly responsible for raising your blood pressure.
I was going to say I had hair before this started, then my hair squid died.
I'm kind of with KR
yeah.
Quinn again. Like I know that it feels like in an ideal world they would have been able to release it alongside stuff, but like they have done it before, and I think they've done it pretty intentionally before. I think it's calculated, and like again, it's building hype for orcs, right? I am sure that that's the case, and I think it's really, really cool. I just wonder how long we're going to have to wait. And that's pretty much it. The models themselves, again, gorgeous. I'm sure the codex is going to knock it out of the park.
Let me just throw this out there in GW's defense. With the release of this box, right? When they announced this box, they did say all the minis in this box will be in a standalone kit following shortly after. So at least it's not like Curse City, right? We all remember Curse City that came and went, and you can't get those minis anymore. They're gone. Like, good luck. So at least there's hope that if you don't get it this Saturday, you don't pre-order it this Saturday, that hopefully in the not so distant future you still can get those minis. But just I mean, if you're as impatient as me, you don't want to wait an extra day. So yeah,
they've been picking up speed pretty dramatically with things being pre-ordered, things coming out, things being pre-ordered, things coming out. So I think now that Age of Sigmar's 3rd edition has come out and the rules are all settled and they've released like a few new things for Age of Sigmar, they'll hopefully like churn out some of these new orc models and the codex by itself.
Shelby, do we have any other comments in the chat asking or talking about this Beast Snagga box and their thoughts? I mean, are people angry?
I don't think anybody is like really. I'm not seeing anybody super upset about it necessarily. Okay. Mostly just
check back in with me after the release and see if
I think the biggest critique isn't necessarily that the codex is only found in this box so far, but that the box itself is in a limited release to only 4 store. Right? Like if it was widely available in stores and stores could order as many as the players needed, I think that would be different. So I hope that this is just kind of like an initial run. And stores will get plenty more in the near future. Awesome. Skylar says that he is going to take your orc box and keep it. Kicker. Oh, so sorry.
People are just mean to me.
Jeez. Yeah, let's hop into the competitive news.
Yeah.
We've gone a little long, so let's see if we can get this back on the road. So in case anyone was under a rock this past weekend, Admech dominated this past weekend. This was like their full glorious return to the competitive scene. Admech won 3 of the 5 GT level events that actually Admech were at. I'm not counting Dice Hammer that occurred in California because they had no Admech in attendance. And there were 2 majors, and both were won by Admech. The Warzone Charizard, now that it's reached its final form, gave them more rules for the Skitarii, which are already what most folks are running. So this is very likely reaching a level of a broken codex that's going to need an FAQ adjustment, whether that's points or reduction of rules crossover. So the question I kind of wanted to pose to you guys, when you have an army like this that's hitting 70+% win rates, that's taking out, at this point, 5 of the 7 GT or major level events in a single weekend, should we consider banning the supplement that's adding more rules? Because all of those games were without the supplement that gives them even more rules. And if this is going to be the big boogeyman in the meta for a while, what do you do to have fun in the meta where there's a dominant force like this?
Well, I mean, okay, so we don't want to just step in. Frontline Gaming doesn't want to step in and start changing the rules because we really want to give GW an opportunity to do that first. And it seems like GW's been not as responsive as we'd all like, but they have been pretty quick to update and adjust as needed. And we all have to remember that there's a bunch of codexes coming out, right? I mean, I know it sucks if you're still using an 8th edition codex, but all these codexes are pretty powerful. I mean, Drukhari is really still very powerful. Admech is still very powerful. How powerful is Orcs going to be? Like, we don't know. So eventually they'll all be super powerful. Is that a good thing?
Perfectly fine.
Orcs perfectly fine.
Don't bring that up in this.
What do you think, Shelby? I mean, do you think that somebody needs to intervene here and say no supplements allowed, or something to that extent?
I think that's like, honestly, you just uttering that sentence gives me kind of like a cringy feeling. I can't imagine just being like, let's not use this entire book, shall we? Yeah. I agree with what you're saying, Kicker. Like, either we should let GW step in, or like, judges at tournaments can figure out if there's something in particular they think is especially broken and organize that themselves. But banning an entire supplement is a pretty big step, pretty like kind of crossing a boundary.
Yeah, and it gets really messy and complicated, right? Because then there's players that want to use it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's the individual TO's decision, right? They can do whatever they want for their event, but I think for most of the major events, they're not going to be banning anything at this point or preventing anything that happens. GW, like I said, has been responsive, so we hope that they jump in quickly and adjust things as needed. If it's a points, I don't know if it's a points thing they need to change.
I think
you
could fix it with trying to up the points. If right now, what a Skitarii model is like 12.
Skitarii model is 8 points right now, but in the new supplement they go up to 10 points.
10. But I mean, like yes, they have incredible buffs, but if you hit them with the nerf bat and said these guys are 15 or 17 points a model,
you're useless. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not useless. They're still just as good, but you just don't get as much other stuff. And that's the thing with those lists is they just have these units that you have to invest your entire army into killing 20 Skitarii, and then they're like, cool, I have 60 more, plus 3 units of infiltrators, plus some chicken walkers with las cannons, and you're like, Jesus, so points are a way to adjust this. It doesn't feel good, but I think it's probably the easiest solution.
For sure.
Yeah.
Seth, who's winning?
Yes.
Who's back to the winning life.
Talk. So in the 40K competitive track, our number 5 this week, there hasn't been much movement. It's James Kelling. Number 4, Mark Hurdle. Expect, again, like I said, Mark's going to move up. He's an Admech boy. Number 3, Brad Chester. I have to clarify, Brad Chester is technically not buying and commissioning an orc army. He's borrowing PJ Pajama Pants' orc army. So that totally...
That's different.
Is the same.
Okay.
It's the same.
They're friends.
He's getting an orc army. Number 2 is the Child King himself, the boy Child King, John London. And number one is 40K Jesus, Sean Naden. So into our hobby track, we've got number 5, Rick Hill. Number 4 is Marshall Peterson. Number 3, Noah Bedham. Number 2, JT Steger. And number 1, Lee Harris. And if our lovely producer, Richard... he says we're going to do it after, so you're just going to wait a second. There's going to be a surprise. For the AOS stuff, we've got number 5. I don't think we've seen any movement here either. Daniel Vasquez, number 5. Number 4 is Noah Aquino. Number 3, Matt Abbott. Number 2, Ramon Silva. And number 1, Anthony Trentinelli. I'm hoping to see. Oh, it's changed. Damn you, ITC rankings changing on me last minute.
Wait, is there a hobby track change?
Is there? Let's go look. I'm going to read it live.
Wait.
Let's do it live. Is this the hobby track?
Nope.
No change in the hobby track. It's the same, folks.
It doesn't change. It doesn't
5,
change.
Number 4, Ramon Silva. Number 3, Greg Pacheco. Number 2, Matt Abbott. And number 1, Scott Reed. I'm excited to see some movement in these charts with AOS 3 kicking off. I know Lone Star Open's running AOS 3, so I'm excited to see some movement in these charts going forward.
Do we get those beautiful, sexy photos?
We do. So this is Lee Harris's Knights Army. He's currently number 1 in the ITC hobby track. I have had the pleasure of playing against these beautiful, beautiful knights. You'll note kind of in the bottom of this picture, it says Battleboard Studios, Lee Harris, and then he's titled his board Heavy Metal. Lee Harris literally runs a studio where he builds battle boards, display boards. So you can check him out on his Facebook page, it's Battleboard Studios. But this is his Knight Army. He's got a little elevator bringing the Knight Magera up.
Is it a lit up battle board?
It's lit up battle board. He's got little elevators that bring up all the little knights. He goes all out, man. These will look really cool. So it was really fun to play against. He's done other battle boards for other folks. That's kind of his little side project he does. So if you ever want to get a cool looking board and don't have the technique yourself, I mean, look at that one, Kicker. You got him in the background there.
That's insane.
Backup, but yeah. So it really makes those armies pop. Look, there's little target Carnifex.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
amazing. I need that.
Little details just on the battle. I mean, obviously the minis are gorgeous.
Yeah, and then you got little broken armor plates from the shoulders of the armigers and stuff.
Hanging down from the ceiling. This is just
it tells
insane.
the story. Look, there's a crushed nid. He's smashing a nid. Yeah, I mean, he put a lot of detail into these, so it really just makes the army come to life, and it just makes that much more exciting when you roll up. You roll up to a game when you see a guy like this at your table, you're like, oh man, what's going on here? You're just excited to play this kind of stuff.
It sets the mode, right? Just gets you ready for it. Seth, Shelby, do you guys have battle boards or some sort of display board?
Does my
What?
Does my like plastic container count?
No, it doesn't. I've made a few, but nothing to this level. I've made them just kind of basic, maybe a plastic tile and slap a terrain kit or two on it. Nothing this fancy.
Cool.
Nothing this is detailed. Obviously, no lights.
You're not an electrician, damn it.
I'm not. All right. So now that we're out of that, let's get into our rapid fire questions, and then let's wrap this bad boy up. Are you guys ready to begin?
Yeah, we got 5 minutes on the clock.
5 minutes.
Yep. All right. Here we go. Oh crap! I lost everything.
Boom. There we go.
Oh, you guys. Okay, good. All right. So, ready, Shelby?
Yeah, let's go.
John, a mysterious John in Anchorage asks, "Why are you this way?"
That's a great question, John. You see, I have no idea. It's probably the trauma. Can I say that on radio?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. You're playing the character of Shelby.
Yeah, of course.
It's my persona.
John's
Thanks, John.
jealous of your amazing Hawaiian shirt, by the way, which is far superior than any shirt.
He got yelled at, so he didn't get to wear his Hawaiian shirts last night because apparently the ones he was trying to wear last night, the green was conflicting with the green screen.
And for those that aren't in the know, this is John from Grim After the Dark, one of our fellow network comrades.
Oh no, John says the question actually was, "How dare you?" So quite easily, sir. Quite easily. Look at me go. Anyways, kicker. Next up, we have Casey from Florida asking, when does FLG upload the roster to BCP for its events, and are legends allowed?
Okay, cool. So first question, yes, we always upload the roster to BCP typically 2 weeks before the Friday that the event kicks off. And as for legends are not allowed at the 40K champs or Age of Sigmar champs at our events. Sorry. I am sorry, man. Seth, dude, Al from Marksville asked, will I accrue ITC standing points for the games workshop road shows? What's going on with that, Seth?
I reached out to the big cheese on that end, Mike Brandt, this morning to confirm that yes, you will get ITC points if you play in any of the GW Warhammer events. It is in their player packet if you missed it there, but I spoke to the man himself and he confirmed it, so you will get your points, Al.
Yeah, and those are big events, so worth a lot of points.
Yeah, I think they're going to be like 250-ish. So yeah, major level events
for the first for this year.
Yep. Shelby, you didn't have a question selected, so I selected one for you.
Thank you.
Kelsey from Hawaii asks, "Do you have any crazy traveling to 40K tournament stories?"
Oh man, Kelsey. So first of all, hey, you're around a lot, and I appreciate you and your support. I think honestly, all of the excitement of tournaments must get absorbed by all of my friends that I travel with, because I'm pretty sure that I've had the most plain Jane normal tournament experiences of anybody I know, which on the one hand, I'm grateful for. On the other hand, it means when you ask me questions like this on a live stream, I don't really have anything exciting to tell you. Yeah, it's real boring, turns out. Whew, surprise. Kicker, Chance from Mississippi asks, since Kicker cannot physically grow the Reese stash, could there be a stretch goal at Charity Hammer for Seth to bring it back to Signals for an episode?
I guess this is more of a Seth question. I mean, I think that is a fair request, though. I think Seth,
right now the goal is if they reach $20,000 in donations.
$20,000.
They will get a bunch of people to shave their beards.
Okay. Could you grow a nice mustache, though, Seth? Yeah, we don't want to shave off the beard. We want you to grow a really impressive Reese-style mustache.
For $25,000, I will try it. I don't know if I can deliver it, but I will try it.
There's your personal live stretch goal, guys.
So if we can get to 25,000, I will try my best.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. An episode after a Charity Hammer to see your entire, handlebar mustache, the works. Dude, Brett from Dallas asked, wow, this is a long question. Okay. Does the new wording for a Sisters Retributor squad with 2 cherubs allow it to refire 2 model weapons in the same shooting phase? Or is it that it enables the unit to refire 1 model, 1 shooting phase, and then a second model in a subsequent shooting phase, as long as there are 2 cherubs on the board? Wow. Right. Okay. Yeah. Go. This is
right. I did a lot of digging for you today. I talked to a couple of different guys on the FLG rules team, and I talked to Nate Goodfellow, the TO for Lone Star Moving, and literally minutes before the show, I double, triple, ultra checked with Nate, and Nate's ruling as of like an hour ago was you will be able to use both cherubs in the same shooting phase.
Oh, wow.
If that was his ruling as of like literally before we went to air. I asked, "Is that your final ruling?" He said yes. So that is the statement from the TO himself. So that is how I would expect it to be played. Now, that is a good question. There are some events that I could see a ruling the other way. So that if you're out in the land and you're playing other events, always just check with your TO to see how they're ruling that particular one. So, but always go with the TO says, guys.
And you guys can all go see the TO's responses to all these questions. They're posted on a link from the player packet where you can see all the responses to questions such as this.
Well, that is a well-timed rapid fire segment. Good job, everyone.
Well done, everybody. Well done. So we do have precisely one question in the chat.
Oh.
Can you tell us a little bit, perhaps, about the Bloody Marys? This isn't my question. I promise. I'm not just living vicariously.
She has a Smurf account called Nikki D. Williams.
Shelby, why do you want to know about these Bloody Marys?
Reason. I guess, if as a Bloody Mary entrepreneur, are there going to be, like little skewers of okra or like
there will be celery? I can promise you celery.
Oh, come on! But like bacon, have bacon in the Bloody Mary?
There will not be a bacon cheeseburger attached to this beverage, or there might be okra.
Show up with just bacon cheeseburgers on skewers
to
sell them in addition to the Bloody Marys. Yeah, just an add-on cart.
So at the concession stand, there will be bacon cheeseburgers for sale. So you can buy a bacon cheeseburger and a Bloody Mary and combine the two and have your glorious over-the-top Bloody Mary. But at this point, we're just trying to make these more affordable Bloody Marys, so we decided not to go with the over-the-top garnishes. I think that our player base will be very happy just to have an affordable drink at the event.
Fine. I guess that's reasonable.
Well, we've done all these polls, and people always say, they want to save money. So, yeah.
That's totally fair.
But if people really do request, some sort of ridiculous garnish, we can make that happen for SoCal. So let's talk. All right.
I feel like if you're going to call it the corn Bloody Mary, we got to get like a corn fritter on there,
right? put like a I don't know, something.
Because honestly, when you say like a bloody corn, I feel like that is. Like I ate Mexican food and I'm in the bathroom the next morning.
Yep. Guys, it's been a great show. Let's wrap this up. That was excellent.
All right. Well, don't forget Lone Star Open is next week. In fact, Kicker, you will be on site next week. Is that correct?
Yes, I will be on site. I will get you some photos of the hall.
And El Jefe and our producer Richard will be on site. And this is going to be a streamed event. Is that correct?
Yes, we will have the entire network team streaming the top tables throughout the 3 days of the event.
So you will be able to tune in and observe all the fun of the Lone Star Open. Don't forget to check out the Thursday show coming up this week. And then next week, check out the whole cycle again. It just keeps on going. And maybe Stat Center will actually fire. I believe in you guys. I believe in you.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Any final thoughts before we send this one to bed?
See you guys in Texas.
Yeah, man. Oh, there were several requests, Rich, for us to get a soundboard. Just so you know, that's what the people want.
The people want me to have a soundboard, and they want me to have unreasonable abilities on it.
I don't know about that. It's anyways.
It never could be too much. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's my final thought. Love you guys.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.